Hello and welcome to the first video of our new dungeon, the Arbiter's Grounds, here on The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This is where we made it to last video, but we haven't done anything in here yet, so without any further ado, let's just get started. As you can see, there's basically death everywhere around you. Can't go in the sand because you'll either get sucked in or whatever that thing is that's moving is probably going to attack us. So this is when you take out our claw shot. You can grapple onto this little grating here, drop down, and then we can safely make it across these little platforms without going into that big gaping sand pit. Of course, these guys are gonna probably jump out at me. They're like little like sandworms. Everything in this dungeon is like dead and made of bones. Obviously, because like Aru said, it used to be like a prison. And I guess, you know, all the prisoners that died here or whatever are haunting the place, which kind of makes sense. So anyways, you need to go ahead and grab the chain with your claw shot, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to walk into the sand and you are going to sink. You are not going to be able to grab it fast enough in order to pull, because it is also quicksand, and you need to be very, very, very careful of that fact. So, on the right side here, this is actually lantern oil, so I'm just going to go ahead and dip my lantern in. I don't really know why there's free oil here, because you don't even really necessarily need your lantern in this area, so anywho, I'm just going to go ahead and grab that. I mean, if you have a free bottle, go ahead and fill up if you want. I think it's just more or less so you don't have to pay for it later on in the game, because we haven't really come to an area where we can actually get free oil. Of course, there's a key there, and for those of you who don't like bugs, you can see there's going to be a bunch of bugs that are going to crawl on us. And these bugs are going to slow us down, so I'm just going to wait for them to crawl all over me. All over you, Link. Feel them crawling. And I'm just going to knock them off. They don't do any damage, they're just there for annoyance. This dungeon, I feel, in terms of like a theme, I think is one of the coolest in the game. I mean, it just sounds so eerie to make it like a decrepit kind of prison for like the worst, I don't know, people who do the worst crimes, you know, like murderers and rapists and things like that, you know, so it's kind of cool to think that it's like, you know, somewhere out where they can't harm society, out in the middle of the desert and things like that. But this dungeon is super annoying. You can see now I've got just a bunch of little enemies coming out to attack me. These little skeletons, those bugs we saw earlier. There's things constantly coming out of the sand. Of course, you can sink, which is also very irritating, so you have to really time a lot of jumps correctly. And a few of the puzzles are actually pretty well done. So yeah, this is a very, very long temple as well. And we get a nice throwback to Ocarina of Time's Forest Temple. Of course, you've got Poes here, who are going to block our path and not allow us to go any further. Alright, so go ahead and transform into a wolf, and we need to, of course, get those 4 lanterns, or, you know, light or whatever it is, back to the torches. The ghosts are really well done, though. I think they look really cool. So I recommend jumping on them. You have to wait till they turn blue. Jump on them and then use your attack, I think twice or 3 different times, in order to be able to catch their souls. Now, these ghosts, interestingly enough, actually count towards your pull soul count. So these actually count as Poes that Giovanni's wanting us to hunt. So if you see my Poe count go up, if I like pause the game or something, it's probably because I've gone ahead and I've added these 4 ghosts to my Poe total. Every time you defeat a ghost, of course, the little flame will very, very slowly and very dramatically go to a torch. And of course, we want to pick up this post because we have a bunch of these suckers to hunt down, and I want to know where they've gone. You can see there's just a crazy trail all over the place of lots of purple gas to follow. So, Poe hunting, it has begun. I'm gonna go over here and dig to go ahead and reveal this chain, which is actually gonna unlock a new area. It's gonna let us go downstairs. Ooh, creepy. Alright, I guess I'll turn back into a human. I don't really want to be a wolf-link any longer than I have to be. So I don't really have a whole lot to say about this dungeon. I really do feel it has a Twilight Princess-ish feel, if you know what I mean. Like, this game has a reputation for being just very, very dark and things like that comparative to the rest of the Zelda games, and I definitely feel this dungeon does not disappoint in that aspect. It definitely feels like one of the darkest dungeons, you know, and things like that. So in that regard, it's nice. Again, like most things in this game, artistically it's beautiful, but this is probably my second least favorite dungeon. When I get to the dungeon I absolutely loathe with a fiery burning passion, you guys will know about it. Of course, there was nothing in that top room when I went up there, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to pull back on this lever mechanism. It's going to change where the walls are situated. There's going to be it's kind of like a stallful slash re-dead kind of thing going on. Of course, they're going to scream like a re-dead to kind of freeze us in place, but they're not going to completely like hop on us and eat us like a re-dead would. They're going to attack us like a traditional enemy would. So I think it's kind of a cool twist to like a re-dead. Instead of eating you for once, they try to attack you. And of course, there's a small key which is going to allow us to go up to where we just were. I am, however, going to not turn that lever back. What I'm going to do is use my claw shot, and I'm just going to go ahead and claw shot my way up to the room, because that is just a whole lot easier. Alright, so I'm going to go through this door up here first, before I turn the room around. And if you go ahead and do what I just did, you're going to come into a room like this with a bunch of lanterns on the wall. I'm going to take care of these guys first because they are a nuisance and I don't want to deal with them. All the lanterns are in place, except for that one. Ah, you are an imposter, sir. I see through your ruse. Turn to a wolf, and there you are. Alright, so it's just like the first Poe that we saw, and all four of them are going to be like this. They are nothing special. They all have the same attacks, and pretty much, you know, they all have the same pattern. You know, just hunting them is your main goal here, so let's go ahead and wait. Oh, come on, you can turn blue any day now, buddy. Really, there we go. Take care of you. Rip out your soul from your body. And look at that, we've already got 2 out of 4. Man, we are rocking and rolling in this dungeon. This place really reminds me, it is really like a twist between the Earth Temple of Wind Waker and the Spirit Temple of Ocarina of Time. This is what this place reminds me of. Maybe that's just me though, because I definitely think of Wind Waker when I think about all of the ghosts and undead of that dungeon, but it's kind of like a Spirit Temple sort of feel. In order to get this door back, where we had to use the small key, we're going to have to go back, down, and we're going to have to turn the door back the way it was, so like that. There we go. Link using his super manly strength. And then once we come back out into the main room, the flame will kind of follow you. So you don't have to do anything special to get them to follow you back into the main room. All you have to do is just defeat them, and then, you know, it will just come naturally. So, we have a small key. I say that we use it. I don't know how long we're going to be in this temple for, how many videos, but all the temples from this point on are very long in comparison to the first couple of temples that we did, so be prepared for that. This room will be in quite a bit. There's, I think, three stories to this room, and it's revisited over and over again. So, let's see, what can we do in this room? We can kind of go across. Whoops! Or wait, it's not this room I'm thinking of. There's another one that's pretty much exactly like this. Just like a lot of temples, they have very similar looking rooms and very similar, mechanisms and puzzles and things. And this guy's going to annoy me. This is what I mean with this temple. Like, a lot of the enemies in here aren't deadly. They're more just kind of like almost like a distraction sort of thing. Like they're here to distract you from doing puzzles and things like that. And it really does a good job. So I guess touche, Twilight Princess, touche. All right. Now that I've moved that block over there, I can actually walk across it. And I'm gonna need to do that because I need to actually go ahead and pull this chain as far back as I can pull it. You'll kind of hear it. You'll hear it kind of click in place, and then Link won't be able to pull anymore. Let go of it, and then quickly go underneath it before it crushes you. And you have quite a bit of time to move, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Alright, so more flaming heads, which are, irritating. Take care of you. Although I really do like using the final blow on these guys. It just looks really awesome when you do. And it's a big chest. What could it be? It's the compass. The dungeon map's actually in the main-ish room with all the pose. I'll pick it up in a later episode. It's really easy to get to. I do believe we can turn this. I don't think you can inspect the writing on the statue or anything. I don't think there's anything of too much, like, great importance in this area. Turn it once, and you'll be able to come over here with another one of these screaming, re-dead skeleton enemy things. I gotta say that I like that they don't eat me, because re-deads freak me out. Definitely one of the freakiest Zelda enemies. There's also a ton of rupees in this dungeon if you haven't noticed. Of course, this small key opens the next room, but you get 20 rupees for every single one of those guys you kill, I do believe, and there's also rupees in chests and things, so, I mean, if you're short of rupees, this is a really good dungeon to come and get some. Alright. And if you can hear that, I don't know if you can hear it on my recording, but you can hear, like, ghost-type sounds coming from what appears to be through this wall. However, we can't just walk through a wall, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take care of all these little skeletons. Get rid of these guys before I continue forward, because they're just annoying. I'm trying to charge up, but I'm not holding it for long enough. There we go. Come at me, bros, because there's a big guy over there, and I want to get rid of these guys before the big guy screams and distracts me. Get rid of you. And I thought it was going to pull me towards him, but it just kind of freezes them. Ignore you and go for the big guy. And there's two of them, actually, so I do recommend getting rid of these little guys because you're going to have two of these bigger guys to deal with. They're both going to scream at you at the same time, and then you're going to have to deal with these little, the little guys who are going to be attacking you when you're frozen, which is never any fun, so yeah, go ahead and hit me. And they scream quite a bit, actually. Luckily, sometimes you can unfreeze just before they hit you, because it takes them so long to kind of prepare their swing. Not in that case, though. They got me really good. Let's go ahead and take care of that. And if we go ahead and turn on our senses, I do recommend you do this every once in a while just to track your progress, because this is very easily missable. You'll actually need to go ahead and you need to dig in here to reveal another chain, and if you pull it, you'll be able to actually move this wall. And like I said, there was like, a sound coming from in this wall where there's actually another ghost, so come at me, bro. Man, I'm making good progress. This is like our third one. And we only just got here. This is like the first video we've been in here. We'll be done this dungeon in no time at this rate. It really does help that I did practice of this dungeon, though, because I haven't played Twilight Princess in like a month and a half, so... There we go, that's our third pull soul from this area. You return back to the main room like a nice little ghosty. Turn back into a human. There's quite a bit of transforming in this dungeon, more notably than other dungeons, just because we didn't have that ability before. Now the game kind of will put it to use a little bit more than they did before, so I'll be wary of that. It's really not too bad, and you do get used to transforming in this game because it's just something you gotta do. Pick up the small key. And then the room goes kind of dark, which I think is a really cool feature. Now you see I'm running slowly or walking slowly, and you can hear like rats or mice or something. So go ahead and transform into a wolf, use your senses, and there's actually rats crawling all over you, which is disgusting. And if you look up close, they're actually like dead rats. I think you can actually see like, I think they're like, you know, they're like skeletons. It looks really eerie. So it's completely up to you whether you want to, like, you know, get rid of them or just kind of let them be. But I would just get rid of them all because they really slow you down and they're such a nuisance. And you have to be wolf-like to see those. You cannot see them as a human. So you have to be really careful about that. Should probably stop this video soon because we are making a hell of a lot of progress. As you can see, we've actually made it back to the main room. And we only have one more torch left to lit. So yeah, awesome progress for the first video. We are now on the second floor, or second part of this room. So, I will leave off on the chandelier, and we will continue on in the Arbiter's grounds in the next video. So, thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.